Well, it's Carrie Harron, right? Has that
Gary Harwin, yes, sir.
Harron?
Harwin, like Darwin's missing link.
Right. And the site is Fund a Geek, right? How long have you had the site?
Well, we started it. I became aware of crowdfunding back in 2010, September 2010.
That's an old
and became fascinated by it. Having spent so many years back in the 60s and 70s, I founded and built a national business management firm. Wow. And so I had worked.
You realize most of the people watching this weren't even born in the 60s and
70s. They missed a great time, Matthew, a great time.
Right. So you had a management firm, huh?
I dealt with a lot of entertainment and a lot of corporate clients nationally, and I dealt with a lot of people that had great ideas. And my biggest frustration was watching those ideas go nowhere because of the inability of getting even a small amount of funding in order to try to test the idea and to develop it. You know, if somebody had an idea back then and it was going to take maybe $10 or $15 or $20,000 to get it going, you weren't going to get a bank to loan money for a startup like that.
Particularly if you have nothing to boot.
Exactly right. And a venture capitalist isn't going to talk to you about that kind of money because they can't get an ROI on the time they have to spend to do due diligence. So you can't get any money.
No, that's cool.
They just sit there.
And
they lose the idea.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, to me, what's so important about what you do is to encourage people to start doing stuff in life. You know, there's so many problems that be solved, and people say, oh, I can't do it because I don't have any money, you know, and you're going to solve that problem for them.
Well, that's what I saw crowdfunding as. I saw it just excited me because I instantly assimilated that this was an avenue of empowering people, taking them away from the requirement of a third party, a government assistance,
paperwork.
It gave them the opportunity. It isn't free. They have to put out an effort, but the effort's time, and they're able to empower themselves. And so I got quite excited about it. And I talked to one of my...
Excuse me, but Kerry, when you say a geek, now I'm worried if that people... You know, feel I have to have a PhD to use this site? Is it that kind of geek or what?
We kind of, it's my background that developed that. One of my associates that worked in my software companies back in the 80s and the 90s, we started talking because we've done lots of deals together, and we were fascinated by this opportunity of crowdfunding. And we started to think when we looked around and researched it, it appeared that what you were really seeing out there that was established as crowdfunding sites were for the creative arts. It was for people doing movies, people doing books, people doing recording albums and things like that. And we started to recognize and recall all of the technical people that we knew and the people that had ideas, but they had no avenue.
And like so the fund
became just Fund a Geek. But it's anything. It could be a student in high school. It could be a kid in college who's doing research. And they're an undergraduate research student. And
an undergraduate wants to go and count pigeons in Hawaii or something like that this summer.
Exactly right. And maybe they have a chance to intern in the summer, but they need $3,500 to cover expenses.
To work with some famous guy or something, and they could get it funded through a site like yours.
Exactly right.
How about now? It seems like you have a big thing for inventors, too. Is that right?
Well, let me share with you what we have that is different from any of the other sites you'll see there. One of the things that I recognized when I got involved in crowdfunding, especially from my days of being a business manager where I interfaced with people from so many different industries, is that every industry has its own vernacular.
Right.
And every industry has its own way of interpreting and interacting with facts and opportunities. And so I realized that people who aren't in the entertainment world but are in other areas, when they go to these sites that are basically wonderful sites for the creatives, it doesn't really bring the crowdfunding experience alive to them in the way of showing how does it apply to them. How would it be effective in their industry? How would they utilize it?
I mean, like an educator or something like that even. I saw you have categories like that. So a teacher or a professor or something looking for something.
Well, what we've is even going beyond the category map.
Mm-hmm.
We started to create portals, industry-specific portals into FundaGeek. So besides going directly to FundaGeek, what we have now are 5 different industry-specific portals. We have one for inventors, we have one for researchers, we have one for educators, we have for community support, and this enables them to go to a URL that takes them to a FundaGeek site, first several pages, which explains it and presents it in their industry.
So if I was just an educator or a researcher, I would go to FundaGeek and find a link to educator or researcher, and that would take me into a little community there?
Well, 2 ways you could do it. Yes, you could go to FundaGeek, and on FundaGeek you could click on, under Learn More, you'll see FundaGeek portals. You can click on that, and it gives you the description of different portals you can go to. Or, like an inventor, if somebody's got a great idea and they're an inventor, they don't know how to get that funding to do their first production run or to do maybe a market test to show the viability of their product for a dealer or reseller to validate that there's a market demand by showing sales, by pre-ordering of the product, they can go to www.fundageek.com/inventors.
Oh, great.
Or /research.
I see.
Or /community.
Got it. Oh, so for community events too. I mean, it's just not for greedy bastards. It's for people who want to help the neighborhood.
Exactly right. I mean, this is the opportunity for people to empower themselves, and they have to. Yeah. They're not going to get help during this economy with budget cutbacks, okay, and program eliminations.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that in your community, if your council has cut back a budget for a particular function that there's a group of you that have a passion for, this is an opportunity for you to spread the word within your community, build a project for free, no cost, promote it, and raise the funds yourselves. So I love the empowerment.
There's no charge for your site, right? I mean, tell me to do this.
Only when you're successful do you pay a little bit out of the money you've received. But if you fail, you incurred no cost.
Right. No pain, no gain.
It's another advantage over many other sites. We recognize that one can do, they may have a goal that for their project they'd like 15,000, but if they got 5, they could go a long way in getting it going and do another project. So we're not an all or nothing site. We're a keep to raise site.
Ah, wonderful.
The only requirement is
now, how about the help, Carrie? It seems like you have a lot of help, like step by step, because if I'm a geek, I may know how to use a computer, but I don't know how to market my stuff, and I think that's the key to getting this money, right, is promotion and things like that.
Oh, you're really right. One of the saddest parts of people who come and don't have a great experience on a crowdfunding site, which historically around the world is 60% of projects that are done on sites fail. 60%. You read about the 40%, but 60% fail on all sites around the world. And the reason is, unfortunately, is most people that come have a feeling that a crowdfunding site is like a shopping mall. And they view it like the movie The Field of Dreams. If I build it, they will come. So they just come, they throw up a project, and then they come and check it every day to see how much money is pouring into it. Crowdfunding doesn't work that way. Yes, it's free, but not free of your time.
Yeah.
You have to invest your time, and you have to work. But, wow, the ability to work to raise money that you don't have to pay back because it's not a loan, or to raise money that you don't have to give up equity in a product or an idea because there's no ownership that's taken.
You don't go to bed with some shark. Huh?
I mean, it's like, think of NPR, think of PBS, think of their pledge drives.
Mm-hmm.
You have a passion for what they're doing, pledge $25, they'll send you a CD. Pledge $50, you get a CD and an AMC ticket.
Right.
For a great
so you help people along the process of how to use social media to help them market and things like that, huh?
Well, exactly right. We recognize that a lot of the people, especially those we address, aren't used to like creative people having fan bases and promoting to their fans and whatnot. people that are inventors or educators needing something, they're not into promotion. We understand that. So what we do have is once you've built a project, the day that it launches, we send you by email coaching email number 1.
Ooh.
And every couple of days, we email you another coaching email, and we do that for the first month of your project. And they give you a step-by-step hand-holding help. One is how to go out to your contacts and send emails to pitch them. Another one is how to go to Facebook. And if you don't have a Facebook account, how to set it up, how to do a Facebook business page for your project. Another one is how to work with LinkedIn. Another one is how to work with Twitter. Another one comes back to Facebook and says, okay, now you've worked with Facebook, let's show you how to work and search for Facebook groups that deal with the area of your product interest.
So you become a crowdfunding mentor, too.
You have to. You have to help people. You can't expect people to do everything on their own.
I don't think, Kickstarter does. That's, I mean, your service seems to add an extra level of hand-holding to people to start learning that process, because I think that's probably the most important thing. What are you going to do after your thing's up?
Exactly right. Yeah. And we give them a kickoff. The first thing we do for them is the day their project launches, we write up a press release. We have a database of 2.5 million journalists, analysts, contributors, bloggers internationally that we're able to search by keyword and we search on your project's area of interest. And we bring up somewhere between 1,000 to 4,000 different press people around the world that have evidenced in their profile or their beat that what you're doing is their area that they like to cover.
This sounds even more important.
And we distribute it for free for you
to
give you a kickoff.
That's incredible. I mean, that's better than the consulting. But you're going to go out and find out the hot press contacts to send out a press release for me too. Man, I mean, that's going to cost you $5,000 with some PR company, to do something like that. Well, that's terrific. So it seems like Fund Geek is, the only one that I've talked to a bunch of these people now that really hold your hand through the process and help you learn all the tricks, because you do this every day, and a person will come and do it once in their life. It's sort of like buying a house. You do it once in your life, and that real estate salesman has it all over you. But here, you're taking your knowledge and showing it with each of your customers how to be successful at this. So that's wonderful.
What we'll even do is, in the middle of their campaign, if they would like, we're willing to even do a Skype video conference with them in order to discuss how they've been promoting, hear what their problems have been, and try to give them some insights to get over a hurdle. And the more the one is willing to work, the more we will help them.
I see.
We get frustrated, like many sites, on those that'll just build a project and then expect the money to pour in. It just doesn't happen like that.
It's hard to help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. Well, you're wonderful. I don't know if people realize, but we're the same age, aren't we, Carrie? And I see that a little 60s and 70s coming out of the back of your neck. I think you have
Very true.
There it is. Okay.
It's my hangover from my entertainment days. Can't help it.
Well, thanks for being there, and thanks for helping people. It's great to have you, and I hope we encourage more people to go out and have fun in life like we do, right?
Well, I appreciate what you do for people. Matthew, I've looked at your site and I've seen how you cover so many different areas of giving people ideas and giving them avenues that they can solve the problems that might make them feel they have a hurdle that stops them. People like you and I, the only thing I think that frustrates us, I used to say back in my management days, was I had a problem dealing with yubbits. And I had to give up representing yubbits.
What's yubbits?
A yubbit is one who comes to you and tells you why they can't do something, and they can't get it done. They have a problem. So you sit as a consultant and say, okay, tell me what your problem is. And they lay it out, and then I go, okay, you're right, but let me show you how you can solve that step so you can go to the next step. And you lay out for them how they can get over that hurdle. And their response is, yeah, but I would then have this problem. Then you turn around and take the time to explain, okay, you're right, but let me show you how you can get past that. If you're willing to do such and such and such, you can take it to the next level and get past that. And they look at you and go, Yeah. But, and they give you another problem. Topics don't make a lot of progress.
Well, thank you so much, Gary. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Matthew, it was a pleasure. Thank you.